For the latest on the UN Climate Conference, I'm joined live via Skype from Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, by VOA's Heather Murdock. Heather, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you.
Heather, update us on the latest developments from the summit today.
Well, today there was one development that got us a little bit closer to one of the major goals of the climate change conference, which is to fund some of the climate disasters in developing countries through the finances of wealthy countries. This initiative has the support of many Western countries, including Europe, that has already got $200 million pledged to it. This initiative is meant to fund money quickly to climate disasters in the most vulnerable places, which is something that is greatly needed across this globe for a long time. But it also has its critics because it's not nearly enough. Back in 2009, the number that was identified for how much money that was needed for wealthy countries to fund climate disasters in developing countries was $100 billion, a lot more than $200 million. Other critics talk about the issue that this is essentially an insurance scheme, and traditionally the most vulnerable places, the most volatile places, are also the hardest to insure in the long run. Also today on the agenda was water and its impact on the climate, and water, as you know, is part of every single climate change disaster. Always there's either too much water or not enough water. This year alone, there have been floods that have killed more than 2,300 people in Pakistan and Nigeria alone, and also drought that have caused near famine conditions in the Horn of Africa. People in Somalia are already dying because there's simply not enough food because there's not enough water.
Heather, very briefly, we saw some protests on the sidelines of the summit. What were the demands of Egyptian climate activists?
We've seen Egyptian climate activists and activists from all over the world here at this conference, and their demand is simple. They are calling for climate justice. They're saying that human rights and climate change justice are connected, and that the poorest people in the world are not the people that have polluted this world, and they are the people that are suffering the most. And they want the wealthy countries to pay up and to help the people who are already suffering from climate change.